it's not going to be enough to fit in the buggy. She was like, you got to figure it out if you want to keep them. So I burned them all. I was like, I don't care, Fahrenheit 451 style. Showed her.
We are live, and I am OmniDog on OmniDog's Vault, and hey now, OmniDogs and OmniKittens. My friend T-Bone was just burning books next door to me.
Didn't realize we were live. I regret talking about that old Hickman Fire Fest there.
Yeah, I don't know what you were talking about, but half the time I don't know what you're talking about anyway. So that's just you being you. And we are going to be, what do you got? Blue Dr. Pepper.
Mysterio flavored. Now tastes like Jake Gyllenhaal.
I have cranberry and club soda. That's my drink of choice for summer.
Beautiful. This is also my drink of choice for summer and winter and spring and fall.
Yeah, you're pretty much a DP guy all the time, Dr. Pepper.
You know it.
Yes, and we are going to be reviewing this book, Doctor Strange, Volume 1 by Jason Aaron and Chris Bachalo. And I'm assuming that's right, Bachalo.
Is that how you say his name?
I think it's Bach and like hollow, Bachalo.
Wow, I've been saying it wrong for a long time. I've been saying like Bachalo.
I'm pretty sure I got taught a lesson by one of my subscribers that it's Bach as in the composer and then Alo as in hollow. That's what one of my subscribers told me.
What does Alo as in hollow?
As in hollow.
Oh, hollow.
Alo as in hollow.
Hollow.
Yeah. So Bachalo. So we'll just call him Chris.
Yeah, let's just call him Chris. That's safe.
Chris B. Yeah, and Jason A. But let's see. So yes, I finally saw Spider-Man: Far From Home, and I loved it. And I'm like the last person on earth to finally see it, I guess.
At least you saw it in theaters.
Yeah, true. My wife and I saw it a couple days ago, and we had bought 2 sets of tickets and got them refunded because last minute things kept coming up. And fortunately, we go to the Alamo, and you were allowed to get your tickets refunded there, which was cool. I don't know if you can do that at other theaters online, but Alamo lets you do that.
That's nice.
Yeah. So this time we actually got to go. And she liked the movie. She liked it a lot. She liked Spider-Man. I think that's the only MCU movie she's seen is Spider-Man.
You should have shown her Endgame. That's also a really good intro movie to the MCU. Just Endgame.
Just Endgame.
Like,
who's that person? 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 Is that person dead? Is that person dead? Is that person dead? Is that person dead? Who's the big blue purple guy? That guy with the chin.
Oh man, so great.
Yeah,
so great.
So that was my weekend. We saw Far From Home, and we dug it. So it was good. And when you get to be my age, Tyler, going to a movie on Sunday and then coming home and resting is a big deal. It was like, that was a date. That was a big date.
Woo, man, hot stuff. Keep it calm down over there.
Holy smoke. We are living on the edge.
Yikes.
Buying tickets online, going there and having Alamo service food. We were living on the edge, man.
You remember like 3 years ago, before places started selling assigned seat movie theaters, what a pain it was to go to a theater, buy a ticket, wait in line, and then like try to get a good seat.
Oh yeah.
They've only been doing that around my area for maybe 3 to 5 years. Like it wasn't that long ago that I was like, oh boy, Avengers 1's coming out. Let's get tickets an hour and a half early and wait in line to make sure we get a good seat. Like,
I don't think I've been taking advantage of it until this year. No, Star Wars. What was the last Star Wars movie?
The Force Awakens. No,
Yeah. Was that the one that just came out last December? Force Awakens?
that doesn't sound right. How
What was?
unprofessional. So embarrassed. I'm just so embarrassed right now.
Wait, what was the first Star Wars movie featuring Kylo Ren to come
Yeah,
out?
that was The Force Awakens. This was, what was the name of it? Wow, we were really embarrassing ourselves here
Yeah, I
in
know.
front of all of our
We're
friends
these
and
huge
family.
Star Wars
I'm
fans, and
sorry,
we can't
guys.
think of the name
Wow,
of it.
this is shameful right now.
Let's see. Ray tries
Wait,
to
wait. Yeah,
tries to find out who her parents are.
yeah. She's going to see Luke.
Yeah, right. Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of
Right.
Skywalker. Wait, no,
No,
that's the newest one.
that's the newest one.
This is shameful.
Wait, maybe Siri can tell me.
Oh
Siri,
god.
hey Siri, what was the name of the Star Wars movie that came out in December 2018?
I'm not sure.
Well, we're not sure either, Siri. You're supposed to tell us. Anyway, that was the first movie I ever got reserved seats for.
Man, this is like trying to remember the completion of a jingle that you've got in your head, and you just can't finish it. It's like, oh man.
Star Wars. Why
How
can't
is this possible? I don't want to look it up. Like, if you look it up, don't tell me. I really just want to remember.
Wars talking about Star Wars movies in order. Okay. Star Wars movies in order. Okay, go ahead.
No, that's not it.
The complete say Revenge of the Sith. That
That's
doesn't
definitely
count.
not it.
The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens episode. This doesn't tell me either. It stops at The Force Awakens. Episode 8, episode 9.
All right. Well,
even
Dr.
the internet
Strange.
doesn't know.
You know what? Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange.
And now in the comment section, there's going to be like 90 comments telling me
It's
the
gonna
name
be
of the Star
so
Wars
bad.
movie.
It's going to be so brutal. People are not going to be kind about this. I
And
guess.
the only
Nor
reason,
should they be.
no, they shouldn't, because
This is shameful.
yeah. Okay, here we
Star
go.
Wars Battle for Azeroth. No, that's not that.
Holiday special, it even has theirs.
Golly. Star
Last
Wars
Jedi.
Into Darkness. The Last Jedi. Oh, come on.
TLJ.
Yeah, come on. Golly. I actually really like that movie.
I did too. I just blanked on the
Just
name.
can't remember the name, apparently.
Yeah, I just blanked on the name. Anyway, that was the first movie I ever reserved tickets for. And I already promised my daughter that we're going to see this new Star Wars movie, because I hate going to movies on opening night.
You don't like being with all the people?
No, I don't like people at all. Any kind of people. I don't like crowds. I don't like people. And so I said, okay, but we have to reserve seats, and it has to be at like the Alamo, and because they kick people out if they talk. And
interesting. We don't have an Alamo around us. Can you get the commemorative glasses and stuff from your Alamo Draft House?
Yeah, but you have to make sure you do it when you order your tickets.
Good. Well, I've got a long list of things I need you to get me. That's perfect. Thanks. I appreciate it, bro. That's awesome.
I would be happy to get you a glass. And I think they have pins too.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So we talked for 15 minutes about everything except Doctor Strange. So that's this book. And I like these Marvel oversized hardcovers because you take the dust jacket off, and it's really cool. Let me highlight myself just so we can show it's really cool. They have a nice scene underneath on the book. Yeah.
That's beautiful. How many issues is in that hardcover?
I believe 12. Let's see. Issues 1 through 10 and Doctor Strange Last Days of Magic #1. So 11. And here's an interesting thing. It turns out that I had read I thought I had read this whole thing twice. It turns out I had read issues 1 through 6 twice.
Oh wow!
And not the rest of the book. So I was very familiar with the first half of the book and not at all familiar with the last half. So yeah, 1 through 6. I had not read issue 7 through 10. And
Golly, look at the beautiful.
I know. Chris Bachalo's art is amazing.
All right, let's jump into the story. Before we get to the art, let's talk about the story.
Okay. So
did you like it?
I loved it. I think Jason Aaron, I don't think he has quite the magic touch that Jeff Lemire is on, the hot streak that Jeff Lemire is on, but he's pretty close in my mind because, I mean, he's got Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Aaron is writing a Star Wars book also. I'm not even going to try and remember which one it is.
Not more Star Wars blanks,
probably
please.
Darth Vader or Star Wars or something. Whatever it was, it's a good Star Wars book. He's writing the Thor books, which are really good.
Thor: The Realms is happening right now. It's a big crossover.
I haven't been reading that, but I understand it's really good. So I think Jason Aaron is a really good writer. And everything he's writing is really good. This is no exception. Now, this was written a couple of years ago, 2015. And the idea is that magic is under attack. It's getting wiped out from outside forces that is looking to wipe out magic in all the realms, all the earths, all the universes, all the known places. It's under attack, and it comes down to Stephen Strange to try and the sorcerers on Earth to try and defend it. And it's got the right touch to me. It's got the exact right touch of humor that I love. It's very it's written really well as far as a serious tone, but then it's really lighthearted in certain places.
Yeah,
that I think is really well done. I really liked it a lot. I liked the whole book a lot, and I liked certain touches. Like this is my favorite part of the whole book. When he's giving her a tour.
That's so great.
And she says, "Are there supposed to be snakes on your coffee table?" And he says, "Do not talk to the snakes."
What's up, girl? What's
up? What's your hurry? The snakes are trying to charm the girl and stuff. And I just thought that was the librarian. And I just thought that was great. That
Stanton from the Bronx. I like that he always gave her like full name. He always called her full name.
Yeah. And that was the sort of light touch that that I liked. That he portrayed Doctor Strange as a bit of a rake, as a bit of a ladies' man,
but you never got that feeling with him and her,
right?
Like I really appreciated the fact that their relationship, Zelma, I believe was her name,
right?
That his relationship to Zelma was never, it never seemed to be romantic in nature. It always seemed to be a friendship.
And he didn't try and charm her or anything.
Yeah, I really thought that actually made it much better because that would have been the easy road to go down. He's a ladies' man. Oh, here's a normal girl. He likes her. She's too afraid to be with him. Then they get together and then he, settles down with her, but then he's still got these old tendencies. I thought they avoided that trope really well. And I thought the story was much better for it. I mean, dude, I have been saying one thing for like 2 years that I want Marvel to do. One book that I had the idea for, and I just keep saying it's real because I feel like if I keep saying it, it will happen. And that book is Magic Avengers.
I
More
would
than
totally
anything,
buy that
I
book.
want a Magic Avengers book. I want you to throw Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Doom. I want to be on there. Like, I want some serious heavy hitter Magic team. And we were so close to that in this book, right?
Yeah.
So close. We had so many good.
You had Magic. You had Ileana in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
My only complaint in terms of, or the only difference, it's not a complaint because I loved the story. I thought it was so good. The only thing I would do different for Magic Avengers would obviously be there would be a less singular focus on Strange, and you would get more character development from some of these side characters. Like, obviously, when we read this, if we've read a lot of X-Men, we love Magic. We love Ileana. We love Scarlet Witch because we've been around her. We even love Hellstorm if you like that character. And Judas? I can't remember. Jericho. I'm sorry, Jericho. And there's a few other Magic users that show up that I'm loosely familiar with, but it would have been cool to see more of them in a team book setting. But I thought for a Doctor Strange book, it was amazing, and it was the closest thing to Magic Avengers I'll probably ever get. Oh, I just loved it so much.
Yeah, I agree that they did team up well, especially in the second half of the book when they're trying to fight. They're trying to grab onto magic has been destroyed on Earth, and they're trying to grab onto every little scrap they can, and they're teaming up with each other. So that was cool to see them team up with each other and try and fight back using that. So we got to see a little bit of Magic Avengers there.
Yep, that was awesome.
Yeah,
what
that
do you
Magic.
think of the villain?
I don't mind single-minded villains like that have an irrational like
one dimension to
one
them.
dimension focus. Yeah. I mean, I get that. I get that there's no reasoning with him because, well, if you reasoned with him, then there would be no story. So he had his
you don't want to talk it out. How boring would that be?
Yeah, he had his minions that he would send to cleanse the world of all of magic because he believed in science and technology the way he was raised. And
because it was super interesting that his parents were killed by mages is a big part of the reason that he hates that. But they were mages who worship Shumagarath, which I'm not ultra familiar with Doctor Strange, but I did play Marvel vs. Capcom 3 where Shumagarath was a playable character. And I was like, yeah, I know that guy. He's really bad. What's going on with level of bad?
Well, you're one up on me because I didn't recognize Shumagarath. So you recognized him. I just saw him as a big eyeball planet type thing. So yeah, and in the end, it was they had to go to the thing in the cellar, which was a pretty scary proposition to actually conquer this science, all-conquering scientist that was wiping out magic. They had to go to the thing in the cellar, and
which I thought was actually a more interesting villain. Though they did work together.
The thing in the cellar?
Yeah, I just thought was a really interesting creation and was part of what I found to be compelling at the end of the story.
Yeah.
Was where he's going to go. It was definitely a setup. It reminded me of if you've ever watched a show like The Magicians or something that's in the genre type show where you've got your main villain for the season, but then kind of towards the end of the season, they begin to sprinkle little hints and little parts of what will be the setup for the next season and the next villain coming in. I thought that was really expertly done here.
Yeah.
You didn't get it too much. It wasn't early. It was just like a little tease in the beginning. You didn't really think much of it. And then by the end, it was a great setup for what I'm calling the next season of Doctor Strange, which, is just like the next volume.
Yeah, it's almost like Hannibal Lecter got let loose.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting concept of all of the pain and suffering that he has ever endured personified. One of the things I thought was great from the story. I mean, I agree. I love the writing, the humor, and the character beats were really good. One of the things that I really enjoyed was I really liked the part about what Wong had been doing
Oh
that was
yeah.
allowing Doctor Strange to survive all of these like horrible battles that he should not have survived. Like all these times he's crossed the line that would kill him and he's like magically alive. It was because, and spoiler alert for those watching, but because Wong had created basically a school, or like not really a school, but like a monastery of people who were sacrificing themselves to Doctor Strange. Like they
Yeah.
were giving their life force so that Doctor Strange would survive and would win. And that was really interesting and
Yeah, that was
freaky and like well across the line of good and evil, but it was for good. It was
yeah, let me
really interesting, I found.
see if I can come up with a picture of that. It was a really interesting concept, getting these volunteers to so that Doctor Strange wouldn't feel it and could keep living his life.
Like, so Doctor Strange goes blind at one point, and then he's like healed. And instead of him being blind, this other monk guy is blind.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. And just the idea, the overarching theme of the books of this first two arcs was that magic has a cost. And I thought that was a really good motif that they played on overall, which was, you know, you read Doctor Strange and he comes in New Avengers and does some magic and you're like, that's cool. And you just kind of think of it as somebody else with powers. Like, you know, the X-Men come in and Cyclops shoots a beam out of his eyes. Like you just treat it like a normal power, but the very clear storyline, like differentiator for Doctor Strange is that magic has a cost. Every time it's used,
Yeah.
there is a cost associated with it. And he's got to figure out how to pay that cost. And sometimes it means not being able to eat real food. You have to eat like this weird, gross other food. That's all your stomach will take, which was hysterical to me. And sometimes it means, like in this story, somebody actually sacrificing their own life or their eyes or their skin or whatever it may be so that Doctor Strange can keep throwing one more punch and doing what he's doing. I thought it was a really interesting concept that I had never thought about in terms of Doctor Strange's character.
Yeah, I totally agree. And why am I not? Oh, here's Shuma McGrath, the big eyeball.
Yeah, dude, he was good in Marvel's Capcom 3. Hit him with a tentacle.
I'm not coming up, of course, with. I mean, you see, there's whole chapters dedicated to these guys, and I'm not coming up. Oh, here we go. Here's
yeah, there they are at the bottom.
The monks, yeah, set up that so they'll receive the pain and suffering so that the Doctor Strange can keep going, and Wong has hidden it from Doctor Strange the whole time.
And that was another interesting beat to end the story on, was Doctor Strange was like, no more.
Right.
Like when he found out about it, he was obviously horribly against it. And so it'll be interesting to see how he's able to function now without that backup, without that essentially those extra lives and the ability that he could have to continue on.
Yeah, and here's the grouping of the Magic Avengers.
Oh, it's so good. Look at it. Just look at it. Look how cool that is.
Yeah. There's all your favorite magicians and stuff. There's my favorite magic.
If they just had Doctor Doom.
Well, they had Mahatma Doom in there.
So good.
But yeah. So I really enjoyed this book a lot, and we haven't even touched on the art yet and the coloring.
Oh my gosh.
The colors of this.
Rarely, I don't know if I've ever said this about a book. Very rarely have I ever said this, if ever. This is one of the few instances where I truly believe the art is better than the story in the best way possible. Like the art actually carries the story. Most of the time you look at it and you go, the writing is bad, it doesn't matter. This is an instance where the art was so beautiful and so relevant to the world building that if you were to decrease either the storytelling or the art I feel like was more important in this book than the storytelling.
Yeah.
It was just breathtaking.
And the coloring was amazing
It's so
too.
good. Absolutely. Can you show the thing that I thought was brilliant about it was in the first issue, the first few issues, we see Doctor Strange walking around in the world and how he sees the world versus how everyone else sees the world. And they represent that by the world is black and white without magic. And magic is the color and the weirdness and the pop. And it was just the most incredible visual way to show how being able to see and perceive magic is. Yeah. Like, it's incredible. Like, that's just such a good inking and coloring and art choice where all the people's lives are in black and white. There's a scene in which Doctor Strange goes and sees Wong. They're already fighting. And Wong is like, I just want a vacation. I want to go somewhere boring. And he's like, you should go to Cleveland. Yeah. And then at the end of like that little scene, there are two guys walking in New York. They're walking past the Sanctum Sanctorum, and they're all in black and white. And of course, there's magic everywhere, but they can't see it. And they're like, man, this city sucks. Nothing good happens here. Let's go back to Cleveland. And I just thought that was great. Like the idea that all of this wild stuff is happening that no one can see. Only people who are magically inclined and attuned.
Yeah. But I think that you're exactly right how the art pushes and pulls the story forward. And I was especially enamored, as you say, with the colors in this book and how well they were used. This is one of the I don't know that I've seen. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it before, but it was really remarkable to me how well the colors were used in this book. Mm-hmm. Just how vibrant they really were. And I mean, there was the absence of colors to make the colors pop and to prove a point. And I don't know, it was just really remarkable. Just the use of the color palette and stuff just to push the story forward. I just really dug it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know me, I'm only an omnibus collector. I don't normally, I occasionally will get an oversized hardcover, but after reading this digitally, I'm like 99% sure I'm going to buy both volumes of the oversized hardcover.
Yeah.
I just liked it that much. And it's important to me to own it physically. And that speaks volumes to how much I personally enjoyed the story.
Yeah. That's actually my preferred way to read is the oversized hardcover. That's why I generally don't upgrade from oversized hardcover to omnibus. If the omnibus comes out like Mark Waid's Daredevil, Posehn and Dugan's Deadpool, I did not upgrade from oversized hardcover to omnibus because it's easier for me to read.
Yeah, I absolutely get that.
But
I agree.
I know how fun it is to get a big old Hurricane omnibus, so I get that. But I preferred the OHC.
For me, it's about getting a more in a run to read at one time, and it's about the visual look on the shelf, like you can see over here.
Right.
I just think all the thicker omnibus just look better on the shelf where I have clients and people come in and out of the office. But I'm gonna get these OHC, and if they come out with an omnibus, then I'll probably just give these two away and buy the omnibus because it was remarkable. So, did you find it compelling?
I did. I cannot. I'll tell you right now. After that ending, I can't wait to read volume 2.
Me too. I totally agree. I found it. The first few issues, as I was reading it, I was like, this is really fun. It's really weird, which I loved. Mm-hmm. It's very different than I expected, but in a good way. But it wasn't like, oh man, I have to get the next issue. And by maybe issue 4 or 5, I was so hooked that suddenly it was issue 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? I just read all of these issues and like so fast. I was so excited to get to it. I can't wait to read more. I've been a fan of Chris Bachalo. Am I saying it the way you told me to say it? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Bachalo. I think I was first introduced. I saw some of his early stuff on X-Men. Like, I think he did some stuff in the late 90s, if I'm not wrong, or early 2000s on X-Men. I don't know. For some reason, I'm remembering X-Men. But the part that really stands out to me is the issues he did in the Brain Trust era of Spider-Man, where they were coming out with a Spider-Man issue every single week. And it was a team of writers and a team of artists. And there was no other Spider-Man titles. This was right before Big Time and Dan Slott took over.
Oh, okay.
Dan Slott was a part of the Brain Trust, as it's known, for Spider-Man. But there was an arc in there, an arc that took place in the snow in the wintertime where Spider-Man teams up with Wolverine. And it was just gorgeous. Some of the most impressive, beautiful art I've seen in a long time. And that made me fall in love with him as an artist. He's a little bit like a tamer Ramos, I feel like. Like Ramos is a little bit more cartoony, a little more like wild. And I feel like he's a step down from that. And yet still retains some of that cartooniness, but it just, man, it works. For me, it works.
I agree.
Especially on Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I agree. This was a great choice to illustrate Jason Aaron's writing. So we liked it enough that we're going to go ahead and read volume 2 then for next week.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This might be the first time we've ever done that on the old OmniDog and T-Bone show.
On the Dog and Bone
R93.5 Dog and Bone.
So we urge everybody out there to get Doctor Strange Volume 1.
That's it.
And we encourage you to read along. And next week we are going to go review Doctor Strange Volume 2. And I will read it probably starting today, and Tyler will read it 10 minutes to the start of the show next week. Because I'll have to remind him the night before the show that we have a show and what we're reading, and that he needs to start reading it. And I'm not exaggerating at all.
I want to deny it. I want to.
But you
really
cannot.
Bad. But I can't. But I want to. Does that count for anything?
Nah, yeah, sure. Whatever you want.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Okay. Well, great. This has been the OmniDog and T-Bone review show, and we appreciate your watching. Please feel free to hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. Leave a comment. We answer all comments with our own comments. We answer all questions. Sure, you know the drill. So, thank you very much. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Hit him with that outro music.